A little girl named Olivia came to a BTS concert in Arlington, Texas with no hair. She was there because of Make-A-Wish, and Jimin kissed her on the cheek. That is the story, and the world is not okay about it. And if you think you already know the whole story because you saw the clip, you don't. Because after it happened, Olivia's own mother sat down and wrote this. Jimin, thank you so much. That child is my daughter. My daughter really loves you, and I love you too. I'd also like to thank BTS. Thank you for giving my daughter such a beautiful and heartwarming moment. My daughter and her friends were so excited that they didn't want to let go of the gifts you gave them, and they only managed to fall asleep around 3 a.m. My daughter and her friends are all little angels who are currently undergoing cancer treatment. For the past year, they haven't had any opportunity to go outside and play because of their treatments. This time, they were invited by Heroes for Children and Children's Health Plano to meet BTS. They're fans too, so they know and sing along to so many of your songs. Normally, they would have to be asleep by 9 p.m., but they wanted to stay with you until the very end, waiting for Butter to be played so they could sing along with you. Read that again. A mother describing her daughter as a little angel, alongside other little angels, all of them fighting cancer, all of them trapped indoors for a year because of treatment, and for one night, none of that mattered. That's the part most people scrolling past the clip never even get to see. And once you understand everything that happened in the hours after that kiss, you'll understand why so many people are calling this the single most human moment of BTS's entire tour. AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. August 15, 2026. Night 1 of BTS's two-show Texas stop. A stadium packed wall-to-wall, lights everywhere, tens of thousands of voices screaming a single name over and over. And in the middle of all that noise, all that chaos, all that scale, Jimin did something that had nothing to do with the show at all. At some point during the performance, he moved to the catwalk closest to a section that most people in that building probably didn't even realize was different from the rest. From the nosebleeds, it probably looked like any other section. Just more fans. Just more phones in the air. But it wasn't just another section. It was a section filled with children. Children who hadn't bought a ticket. Children who hadn't fought for resale seats or camped outside for hours. Children who were there because Make-A-Wish had granted them a wish. Children living with childhood cancer. Children living with leukemia. Children carrying critical illnesses that no child should ever have to carry. Not for a single day, let alone the months and years some of them have already been fighting. And when Make-A-Wish asked each of them what they wanted most in the entire world, out of every possible wish, every trip, every dream, this is what they said. They wanted to see BTS. They wanted to see Jimin. And somehow, in a stadium that size, with everything happening at once, Jimin noticed them. He didn't have to. Nobody would have blamed him if he hadn't. The choreography doesn't call for it. The set list doesn't call for it. Nothing in that show requires an idol to stop what he's doing and walk toward a section of children he wasn't told to interact with. But he noticed, and he walked over. What happened next has been shared across every platform on the internet since the first clip went up. Through fan accounts, news accounts, people who've never listened to a BTS song in their life but couldn't scroll past it. The organization Heroes for Children posted the footage themselves, with a caption that's now impossible to read without feeling something catch in your throat. Still not over this moment. Thank you BTS for giving our girl Olivia the sweetest hug at last night's concert. A core memory she'll never forget. That post took off almost immediately. Still climbing right now. Japanese outlet Wow Korea picked it up too, running the headline, BTS Jimin kisses cheek of girl battling childhood cancer during Texas concert. Emotion spreads over an unforgettable precious memory. And it spread through that audience just as fast as it spread through everyone else, because some things don't need translation. A kiss on the cheek of a little girl fighting cancer needs no caption to land. But here's what makes this story even bigger than the moment itself. Because the moment was already enormous on its own. A global superstar in front of a packed stadium, stopping everything to make one sick child feel like the center of the universe. That alone would have been the story. That alone would have been enough to make headlines for a week. But what happened after, what Jimin's interaction with those children triggered without him knowing it, without him doing anything at all except being who he is the part that genuinely makes your heart stop. Fans started donating to Make-A-Wish, not because anyone organized it, not because there was a campaign, a call to action, a hashtag telling people what to do. Nobody told them to. Nobody had to. They simply saw Jimin kiss a child with cancer on the cheek at his concert, and something in them shifted. They opened their phones. They went to the Make-A-Wish website, and they gave. Individually, quietly, many of them completely anonymously, with no intention of anyone ever knowing they'd done it. Fans began uploading photos of their donation confirmations on X, tagging Jimin's accounts, writing things like, "Thank you for making me want to be a better person." Others didn't post anything at all. No proof, no screenshot. Just quiet people quietly giving because a stranger's kindness moved something in them that 1,000 ad campaigns never could. One post that spread widely summed up exactly what was happening in real time. The positive impact of Jimin, thanks to this beautiful interaction. Many people are donating to the Make-A-Wish World Organization. Many of Jimin's fans are uploading their images with their donations, and some others are doing so anonymously. Thank you very much to all of them. And we are very proud that Jimin has driven this forward through his love. And the donation wave that post described was real, documented. Confirmed donation screenshots kept appearing, one after another. Messages in Spanish, in Portuguese, in English, in Korean, a wall of different languages saying the same thing in different words. All from fans who saw one moment at one concert in one stadium in Texas and felt compelled to give something to children they will never meet. All because a person they love showed them, without saying a single word about it, what it actually looks like to care. That is the Jimin effect. Not the streaming records. Not the chart positions. Not the brand deals or the magazine covers. A ripple that starts with a kiss on a child's cheek in Texas and ends with strangers all over the world quietly opening their wallets for kids they've never met. At an organization most of them had probably never even thought about the day before. And it's worth understanding what Make-A-Wish actually does, because the weight of the story doesn't fully land until you do. It's built around one idea that a child fighting a critical illness deserves, at least once, to have the thing they want most in the world actually come true. For Olivia, out of everything she could have asked for on this entire planet, it was seeing BTS. It was seeing Jimin. Nobody could have promised he'd walk over. Nobody could have scripted a kiss on the cheek. But it happened anyway. Now let's talk about why none of this is actually a surprise to anyone who has been paying attention to Jimin for more than 5 minutes. Because what happened at the Make-A-Wish section in Arlington is not a one-off moment of generosity from someone who happened to get lucky with where he was standing on stage that night. It is the latest chapter in something that has been consistent, quiet, and documented for years. Long before this tour, long before this stadium, long before anyone was filming. When Jimin's elementary school in Busan was closing down, he quietly paid for every single graduating student's school uniform, entirely out of his own pocket. No announcement, no press release, no photo op. The school only told people afterward, and only because they wanted to say thank you. That's the only reason the story ever got out at all, because the people on the receiving end couldn't stay silent about it, even when he clearly wanted them to. Later, when he had the means, he donated to the Busan Metropolitan City Office of Education, including to Busan Arts High School, the very school that trained him as a dancer, and that had quietly waived his fees when his family couldn't afford them because they didn't want to lose a talent like his. He remembered, and when he could, he paid it back, then kept paying it forward. He has donated to multiple education offices across South Korea, each time through his father, each time with zero ceremony, each time with the same quiet request attached. Please don't make a big deal out of this. Scholarships for students who needed them. Uniforms for kids whose families were struggling. Support specifically for students in art, music, and dance, the exact fields he came from. When the earthquakes hit Turkey and Syria, he donated to relief efforts there too. Quietly, through his father, just like always. The story only came out afterward, weeks later, because it always does. Because the people who receive what Jimin gives feel compelled to say thank you publicly, even when he specifically asked them not to. That's the pattern. Every single time. Most recently, right before this current world tour launched, Korean media reported yet another donation, this time to an education scholarship foundation. Quiet. No ceremony. No statement from his side. His request, as always, was simple. No publicity. And once again, the story surfaced anyway, days later, because the people who received it wanted the world to know what he'd done, even if he didn't want the credit. The phrase ARMY has used to describe this pattern for years is exactly right. Jimin does good deeds quietly, and it is the people he meets who end up being loud and proud about it. That's not a fan exaggeration dressed up as fact. That is a documented pattern stretching back years, with real names, real dates, and real institutions attached to it. The donations are real. The timelines are real. The receipts are real. The people and schools who receive them are real, named, and on record, not rumors, not vague fan theories, actual documented history. And on August 15, 2026, in Arlington, Texas, at AT&T Stadium, all of that history walked over to a section full of children with cancer and kissed a little girl named Olivia on the cheek. He didn't know it would trigger a donation wave. He didn't know fans would screenshot their confirmations and post them with his name attached, in 5 different languages, from 5 different corners of the world. He didn't know Heroes for Children would post the footage and that it would take on a life of its own within hours. He wasn't thinking about any of that in the moment. He was thinking about a child standing right in front of him who had come to his concert because being there, seeing him, was the single thing she wanted most in the entire world when someone had asked her what her wish was. So he walked over and he made it as good as he possibly could. He hugged her. He kissed her cheek. He made eye contact with her the way you'd look at someone who actually matters to you. He made her feel, even just for a few seconds, like she was the only person in a stadium filled with tens of thousands of people. It wasn't a one-time fluke either. It's the same thing he's been doing at stop after stop on this tour. The baby girl in Baltimore who walked away with his hoodie. The fan in the handicap section who got a gift and a kiss on the cheek earlier that very same night in Arlington. And now the children from Make-A-Wish, walking away with a memory their families are already calling something they'll carry for the rest of their lives. A core memory she'll never forget. That's the exact phrase Heroes for Children used to describe it. Core memory. For a child fighting a critical illness, core memories matter in a way that's genuinely hard to put into words unless you've felt the weight of it yourself, or watched someone you love carry it. They're the things that remind a kid why fighting is worth it on the days it doesn't feel worth it. The things that make an unbearably hard year feel, for one night, like it also held something extraordinary. Something worth all of it. Olivia went to a BTS concert in Arlington, Texas, in August of 2026, and Jimin kissed her on the cheek, and now that belongs to her forever, no matter what happens next. Nobody can take that away from her. And the fans who witnessed it, even secondhand through a screen, went home afterward and donated to Make-A-Wish so that other kids just like Olivia could have their own wishes granted too. So that other little girls and little boys fighting battles no child should ever have to fight could sit in a section like that one at a concert like that one and have their favorite person in the entire world walk over and, just for a moment, make them feel like the most important person in the building. That is what one moment at one concert in Texas managed to do. That is the Jimin effect operating at its fullest and most genuine expression. Not manufactured, not planned, not part of any campaign. Not the streaming records, not the chart positions, not the brand reputation rankings or the sold-out designer collaborations. A kiss on a child's cheek that turned, almost instantly and without anyone orchestrating it, into a wave of quiet strangers all over the world doing something kind for children they will never meet. Heroes for Children said it best, and honestly there's nothing left to add to it. A core memory she'll never forget. So here's the question. Drop a comment and tell me, did you donate to Make-A-Wish after seeing this moment go around? Or is this the first time you're hearing about it, and you're already opening a new tab right now to go do it? And if there's someone in your life who needs a reminder today that genuinely good people still exist in this world, even now, even with everything going on, send them this video. Let them see it too. I'll see you in the next one.